channel. If you don't know me, my name is Mama Mwana, and I'm a married mom of one and a mom to be of another. I am 38 weeks pregnant, and I am planning on delivering this baby here in Nairobi, Kenya. My first was delivered in the United States some time ago actually, and so I've been doing a lot of preparation for the second one, and I thought it'd be a fun process to document just for myself, but also to share with other moms. I watched 101 of these videos when I was preparing for my first, and I'm actually still watching them now, and so I thought it'd be helpful to put my tips, my advice, the things that I've learned and the things that I am learning out in the space for women to be able to share it themselves. So it's a cold and rainy day here in Nairobi. I have some warm tea. I encourage you to get something of yourself and join me if this sounds like something that you'd like to learn about. Maybe you're at the beginning of your pregnancy, maybe you're at the tail end, wherever you are in preparing for your baby. If you'd like to learn about what I've done thus far to prepare for mine, then please keep on watching. So to start, my first recommendation is to nest. It sounds obvious. This is something that all women and families do, where you prepare your physical space for the baby. That means setting up a safe space for them to sleep, maybe arranging a space for them to have their belongings like diapers and clothing. Whatever that is to you, I recommend that you do it when you have that urge to do it, because it psychologically prepares you to see your space transform for what will be a full life transformation. I also encourage you to get your family members to join in. I got my first to help me craft a diaper cart so that they are ready to help when I have a diaper changing emergency or whatever it is. And my husband, God bless him, he does all of the heavy lifting. He does the moving, the setting up of the cribs, the building, the reaching. I mean, everything that I could possibly have to do that's very physically strenuous, he does that for me. And so I'm grateful that I'm able to see him also joining in the preparation and the nesting for the baby. So again, just prepare your physical space. And it's nice to be able to actually have a visual reminder of what is to come. You know, I know aside from your growing belly and your growing family, a visual reminder of your physical space transforming is also another great way for you to psychologically prepare. So number one, nest. So moving on to number two, I recommend that you do things to prepare for your long-term pregnancy and postpartum journey. So that first thing includes seeking out antenatal or prenatal care. You want to see a doctor. If this is your first pregnancy, your consequent, it's just great to tell a doctor and see a doctor as soon as possible, especially if this is your consequent, you're like a second or third baby and you've had some complications in your pregnancy before. If you're concerned about anything, it's just great to be able to talk to a doctor and tell them your concerns right away. On top of just seeking out medical care and medical help, I also recommend that you secure your bag for your job or your school or whatever your life situation is. You may be looking for your job to have somebody replace you while you're gone, depending on what your position is. And you may also just be needing a break, and you just need to let them know that you will not be available during your maternity leave. Those are things that you should start to do kind of sooner rather than later, so that you're not surprising the people who you work for or you work with, and that they have adequate time to train somebody if that's something that they have to do to replace, to find like a temporary replacement. But either way, most doctors and health and professionals recommend that you start telling people after week 12 in your pregnancy, which is the beginning of the second trimester, because there's less likely of a chance of miscarriage. And but that doesn't mean that at week 12 you have to do that. Whenever you're comfortable, maybe it's week 15, maybe it's 20. I recommend that you follow the protocol that's outlined by your human resources. They may have a deadline that says that you must notify them by week 20 perhaps. Just follow what your job or your school, your program says that you should do, and hopefully you'll be smooth sailing in terms of preparing for your postpartum journey, your maternity leave. Oh, that's so good. Okay. Third tip is to prepare for immediately after birth. And by that, I mean you should be able to prepare your mind and your body and your support system for what's going to be happening for the first couple of days after, and the first couple of weeks perhaps, maybe even the first couple of months after after you've had this baby. So, you want to plan for the days where you're immediately discharged from the hospital. One of the things that I like to do is to prepare meals for my family. So one thing that I've done, and I'll insert some clips here, is prepare some freezer meals. I pre-boiled corn and beans and kahurura beans because I want to make mokimo, and I want to have these foods available because I expect that family members will also come to visit me, and I want to have meals available for them. I also found some help so that somebody can come over and be with me while I am in this postpartum journey. Of course, I'll have my husband here, and he's wonderful and exactly who I'd want to have with me, but we also have another child. He has a job, we'll be busy, things happen, and it's just great to have as many hands on deck to help with as many things that could possibly be happening at the same time. So having a plan for what's going to be happening in your home, in your physical space, but also with your body. If you haven't watched my postpartum kit video, do yourself a favor and watch it. Prepare yourself. Get all the supplies that you will need for your body immediately after birth. And you're going to use that in the hospital and when you get back home. You want to prepare your mind. You want to know that you're going to be sleepless and you're going to be tired, but you're going to be enamored by this beautiful baby. And so I recommend that you pray, that you prepare your body by stretching, that you start taking care of yourself for that immediate postpartum period, because if that goes smoothly, then it will help you for your long-term postpartum journey to go a lot smoother. You want to be able to look back on that period with, fond memories rather than horror. And so preparing for that now makes a huge difference in the long run. My number 4 tip, and this is not in order of importance, this is just number 4 on my list, is to ask for help now. There is no shame in asking grandmas, grandpas, aunties, neighbors, husbands, siblings, whomever you have in your support network to help you. I mean, that could include having your grandparents buy you a package of diapers, or perhaps helping you paint the nursery. Whatever that help is that you need. You could be thinking help pre-baby and help after baby, but you want to ask for help because this is not a thing that you do by yourself. Kudos to all the single moms who are doing it by themselves. And I support you, but I would also recommend that if you are able to find the help, seek out all of it. Get people to support you to watch your kids while you go to the hospital if you have other kids. Get people to come over and cook and clean for you. Get people to come over and hold the baby so that you can go and take a shower. You want to have some support system who's going to know what you're going to need. And so in preparing them now, by asking them for help now, it's not going to surprise them, but they'll be able to better support you by not having you ask them to, not waiting to have you ask them to do some things, but they'll be able to just do it for you right away. So one thing that I did is I just asked my husband to be ready for me. And that was very bland. That was our first baby. We had no idea what was happening. But when I tell you the man was ready, he was ready. He was ready to help me with laundry, with whatever thing we were going through at the time. And at the time we lived in the United States, and so help was really hard to come by there compared to what we're finding here in Kenya. Even though we have a lot of family, it's very spread out there as opposed to here where it's more condensed, and you can also find help more readily available and actually hireable help as opposed to what you'd be able to find in the United States. So I'm excited for this postpartum journey for myself, but I'm still doing my part to seek out the help now, so that way I don't have to look for it when it's too late, when I'm already knee deep in 12 diapers and I'm still nursing and having whatever issues with my own body. So seeking out help now from your support network and building a support network is a big deal. This might also include support from professionals. You might be looking for somebody to support you in your nursing journey. So you could be seeking out an IBCLC, which I will have another video on nursing very soon to explain what that is, but you might be looking for a lactation consultant. You may be seeking out pelvic floor therapy like I did right after you have your baby. You may be even looking for mental health professionals, because honestly, having a baby is life transforming, and you and your family may go through some huge transformations, and you may need the support to be able to get your mind through it so that you can also get your body and everything else through it as well. There's no shame in asking for help, and especially seeking out help before you actually need it, because it's nice to have those things on speed dial for when you know that you need the help. So again, seek help now. Number 5 is to take part in self-care. That could be little things like taking the time to get your hair done before you have the baby so you don't have to worry about your hair. Getting your nails done like I did. Maybe you go get a wax. Whatever it is that you do to pamper yourself, you want to invest in yourself and take that time while you have the time. Because after you have the baby, you'll be very limited in energy and desire to do those things perhaps, but most importantly in time. You could also do things like booking maternity photos, because these are things that you have a limited time to do. You will be pregnant only for so long, and so you should get those photos in while you still can. Spending time with your family is another extension of taking care of yourself. So go on dates with hubby or with your spouse, your partner. Spend time with your older children and have that one-on-one time where you can invest and love on them in the way that they deserve to be loved. Because your time with them will also be limited because you'll be focusing on this beautiful baby that you have, which is not a bad thing, it's just different. And the more you invest in them now, the more your future self will thank you, because you did take the time to prepare them for that time where you will be less present for them. My final and very important tip for you is to rest. Get all of the sleep that you can possibly get, because you will have very limited time. You will not be resting quite as much. You'll be very busy. And if you can put sleep into your sleep bank account now, you're going to be happy. Hi, baby. So if you rest now, that rest will have a huge impact on your future self, and future you will be so grateful. The night before I delivered my first, I stayed up late watching YouTube, and I regret it because I didn't sleep that night and every night thereafter for the first 6 months of my firstborn's life. And so I recommend that you take the time to rest now. Not only is it important for future you, but actually present you could really take some rest, because you're doing a lot of work. Physically, you're growing another human being. Your body is probably tired, and you're probably feeling lots of aches and pains that weren't there before, which rest makes a huge impact on. So I recommend that you rest, that your family rests, and everyone around you who's going to be supporting you should rest. So that's my full list. What do you think? If you like my suggestions, please like the video. If you have comments or feedback or questions, sound off in the comments. I'll try to respond to those as they come in. And also share this video with other moms who are either in preparation for a pregnancy or in the midst of a pregnancy, or maybe they are postpartum and they're looking for other things to think about with regards to reflecting on their pregnancy. Share this content with other moms, because I'm thinking that it would be helpful as it was for me as I was watching these videos as I'm pregnant. If you're interested in other content in regards to motherhood or marriage, or just lifestyle in general, join the Mama Moana Sisterhood, subscribe to the channel, and you'll be amongst the first to catch those videos when they're uploaded. For example, I'm planning on filming a video about breastfeeding, and I hope to share some of the more important breastfeeding products that I use. I'll also be filming some of my top nursery items so that you can see some of the products that I chose, because I put a lot of thought into planning out my nursery, especially since I was moving from one country to the other in the midst of a pregnancy. And then finally, I hope to share some insight and some planning tips on how to travel with young kids, including infants and toddlers. With my first, I got it down to a science, and I hope to share those tips, those travel products with you in case you are somebody who's interested in becoming a mama who travels. If you made it to the end of this video, asante sana, you're a real one. Tune in for the next video, and as always, love, love, love.